This is how most businesses photograph their products, and this is what their competitors are doing. Same product, completely different result. One gets scrolled past, the other gets purchased. Professional product photography requires expensive equipment, skilled photographers, and hours of editing. A single shoot costs between $2,000 to $5,000. For small businesses selling multiple products, that's simply not affordable. But what if artificial intelligence could do all of that in seconds? One basic photo upload, professional variations generated instantly. No photographer, no studio, no expensive equipment, just AI. This is Viral Kit. Upload your product photo, tap generate. In 30 seconds, you get professional photo shoots in multiple styles, a promotional video, and AI written captions ready to post. Everything a business needs to sell online. Every product gets the professional treatment. Coffee mugs looks magazine ready. Sneakers rival Nike's marketing. Handmade items compete with luxury brands. The playing field just got leveled, really. Small businesses that adopt this technology see immediate results. More clicks, higher conversion, better sales, because when your product looks professional, customers trust you enough to buy. And that's exactly what we're building today. Hi, I'm Joseph, and over the next 4 hours, we're building and coding Viral Kit from scratch using React Native, TypeScript, and Wiro's AI powerful models. You have a real SaaS app worth thousands of dollars, no fluff, no shortcuts. Let's build this and deploy it on the Apple Play Store. Alright, before we get this started, first, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell icon. Let's get it. So to start with, you're going to have to open your IDE. In my case, I'm using Cursor Pro, right? You can use Cursor free. Anyone works really. And also, you're going to make sure you have your Expo Go installed. So if you just, see how that looks like on your iPhone, you're going to see Expo Go. The same with, Android as well, Expo Go. So just have that open because we're going to run this app on an Expo Go app, right, while in development, and also deploy the app to the, Apple Play Store. And you're going to be able to install it on your devices right there. So moving on, we are going to start this project not from scratch. Like I said, this is an intermediate course or tutorial, and I will assume you have some basic knowledge of some programming languages and how things work. This is an intermediate tutorial. So if you head to your browser and you head to GitHub and you start from my username, I'm going to have the link in the description box. Just tags. This is my repository. So this is my repository, right? And if you go to the exact link that I provide for you, in my own case, I just want to clone the boilerplate code, right? So this is what the boilerplate code look like. It's private for now. I'm going to make it public, right? So no issues with that. So I'm just going to click into this, and this is what the boilerplate code will look like. You're going to have 2 or more than 1 branches by the time you are copying this. The main branch is going to be the boilerplate code, and the other branch you're going to have is going to be the full code base. All right, so next thing we want to do is just click on this guy and just copy this. We want to clone it basically. So let's head to my terminal. Let me go to a new terminal, and let me just cd into desktop. Then I'm going to type git clone and paste this right away. So as you can see, that's successfully been cloned. Let me just cd into Viral Kit, and it says that doesn't exist because I believe the name is different. So let me just copy this. Let me copy that. So let me clear it. Or let me just cd and paste this, and it seems we didn't copy this. So copy this, Ctrl C, and I don't think that is copying, right? Let me just remove all of this. Let me just remove all of this. So this is still my folder name on my desktop. Click on that. While I'm inside of that, I'm just going to click on cursor dot to open that folder in another cursor project. Let me just close this and let me bring this right here. Let me just open it properly. So let me try to minimize this. Let me zoom in. All right, so if you check all of these, you're going to find some boilerplate code, right? I'm going to explain that in a bit, but first things first, let's check the package.json and see what we have for now. So in our package.json, we have the typical React Native package.json, Expo AV, Expo constant, file system, image manipulator, image picker, and the likes, right? And to stand, Zod, and all of that. So what we have to do is install these packages. I'm going to be explaining what they do in depth when we start using them, right? So let me just bring up my terminal, Ctrl J, then just type npm I to install all of these packages, so we can see a node modules show up right here, installing all of our packages. What is installing? The other thing that we need for this to be successful is our set of APIs, right? We need several set of APIs. So the services that we're going to use for this app is going to be called Wiro. So just go to wiro.ai and you are going to have access to several APIs that you can use, right? So on the platform, they have generate images. If you click on this, you're going to see your cool APIs. You have Nano Banana. If you scroll to the right, you have other APIs. You have edit images. So this is the one we're going to be using, virtual try-on. And also if you click on generate videos, you're going to, let me click on this again, you're going to see Sora 2 Pro right here, which is one of the APIs we're going to be using as well. So, and yeah, so imagine all of these services and you're trying to go to OpenAI to find the API that works for you, and also coming back to Nano Banana to pick the documentation. That's kind of a lot for you. So speaking of Wiro, each shout out to them for sponsoring this video and making this project possible. And Wiro gives you access to hundreds of AI models, right? So if you go to the models right here, so just click on models, it's going to show you several models that they have in stock. So you can see these are several models they have, right? And what these models do is they just provide a single API endpoint to manage it. So for example, if I go to, let's say, text to image, and you all know Nano Banana, right? So if I click on Nano Banana, right, it's going to load, and what it does is upload your image that you want and also pass in the prompts. And once you sign in to run it, you're going to be able to see your results right away. And talking about the API integration, if you go to API integration guide, right, they are supporting several programming languages. So if you're using Node, this is good for you. If you're using C#, Swift, Dart, Kotlin, and the likes. And if you just click on any of these request type, so let's say you want to make an HTTP post request, that is, you want to upload an image and use Nano Banana to transform that image, right? This is how you can do that or set up the API. So all of these I'm going to be working throughout to do that. All right, so they give you access to hundreds of AI models through a single API endpoint. So most of the APIs will look basically like this, right? Some of the values that will just change is probably your API you're using, you are expecting to send an image to the API, you have to pass in an input image, right? And also you can generate images. Like I said, this one particular is text to image. If I just go back, you'll be able to create videos, text to videos, and here you're going to find view, you're going to find Sora by OpenAI and all that cool, video generation models, right? And yeah, text generation, audio processing, you can find them. Just scroll through this, right? You can even have a normal, LLMs here. So this is what that looks like. And if you just let me uncheck all of this and just check only LLMs, and you're going to see just chat here, right? So if I click on this is just a basic LLM, just text alone. So you can click this to see all of the APIs available, OpenAI, Coin, and yeah, DeepSeek and the likes. So you can just pick one, and just enter a prompt, and you're going to see your response right there. And you have all of these collections of API in just one place. That is really cool because you save time trying to implement, Sora from OpenAI, Nano Banana from, Google or Gemini, and DeepSeek from the LLMs as well. So this kind of just help you move faster, right? So back to our code base, let's check these are successfully been installed. As you can see, node modules, it has successfully been installed. So if I just clear this, now I want to run it. npx expo start. So let me just click on that, and I want to open this app right here to show you the basic things that we have yet, right? And the first UI we'll even be implementing is the onboarding screens, right? This is what they look like. All right, this is what the onboardings look like. Really beautiful if you ask me. So this is what it looks like for now. So this is what we're implementing first, but let's start our project first and see. Throws an error, the following packages should be updated. Not much difference, we can always leave that. We're not going to jump into any major error. So you take your camera, right, and just scan this like we've done many times on the channel. Scroll up, you're going to see this installing right away. While this is installing, let me just walk you through what we have now. So in your package.json, we've introduced that native wind.-env. This is basically to type using class names or using the Tailwind CSS in our projects. Adding this is going to make you ignore those squiggly line errors that you might have if you don't set this. So that's one. Global.css, the basic Tailwind CSS, and Expo. Yeah, this is just one of those things that comes with installing Expo. ESLint, yeah, configurations for ESLint. AS.json is one thing that would need, which is quite important for deploying to the Apple Play Store. Let me just minimize it and walk you through it really quick. So inside of your build, you have development, preview, production, simulator, Android. And what this basically do is, if you want to build a specific kind of build, right, either development for your developers to test it or in-house to test it, this is the build you're going to use. Development, all right. And you can see our project has successfully opened index, which is this index right here. So moving on, if you want to deploy your app to the Apple Play Store, you want to have your production here so that in case you build, ES will be specific about what you want to build, right? So here's the JSON. This is what this is really about. Like I said, this is an intermediate one, and I've talked about these things severally in my existing videos on the channel. So Babel.config, this is just setting your native Wind and Tailwind CSS. App.json, this is basically the name of our app. The icons, which you can find in assets. As you can see, this is our icon right here. This is the icon of the app. So back to app.json, this is us asking the user permissions. We're going to need their camera to take pictures of the product, and also permission to save those generated images on our device and camera as well, right? So these are the basic things that comes along with Expo splash screen, and EAS project ID. We're going to configure all of these later. You can see it's empty for now. We're going to configure all of that pretty soon. So that's that about app.json. The same thing is inside of app.config.json really, right? So I just duplicated it and changed it to app.config.json. Why? Because sometimes Expo recognize these app.config.json in some cases, right? That's why we have this here. So git ignore, basically some of the things we want to ignore pushing to GitHub. So that was one. So utilities, this is where things get interesting. If you go to your constant.ts, you have these Wiro API configurations. Let me minimize all of that and explain them one after the other. So starting with these, let me bring this down. So you need your API key and API secret. How do you get that? Just head over to your Wiro right here. So sign up. We are going to do this together. And let me just, sign in with Google. Just sign in with any Google account, right? And you're going to see sign into Wiro AI. So this is going to take you back to the landing page, which looks like this, right? And again, take you to the dashboard. So this is what you see for now. Hey, Joseph, complete your onboarding and earn up to 30 minutes of credit. Let me just, click on this. So I'm a developer, location, London, bio, code, or let's say building really cool React Native apps. Social media profile, let me just add, let me just leave this for now. Let me go back to my dashboard. Let me see if that counts. Saving that, if that counts too, because I want you guys to be able to enjoy some of the perks as well. So that has been struck out. So social profiles as well. I'm just going to press https let me have twitter.com/juststart. Let me cut this, put it inside of this. Let's save this. Oops. So this is supposed to be https. So save this and let's see if that counts, so we can get our free right. Hey Joseph, complete your onboarding successfully and earn up to 1 hour of credit. So this is basically what we have to do. This is one of the things you have to do first. And for these purposes, you're going to be able to have access to $25 free credit to test this app with me and build this along the line. All right, how does that work really? First things first, create your project, call it a name, and just call this viral kits app, and this is just an AI social content creation tool. Right, once you create this project, they're going to provide you with two things: your secret, your API secret, and your API key. All right, so project created. I can't see anything for now. Let me try to create it again. Nothing is happening for now. Let me just copy this. Let me reload the app. Let me try and reload the app. Still no project yet. So let me click on this and just say viral kits. Fingers crossed this is created. Exactly. So this is what you'll be given, right? So your API secret is quite important. Copy that first before you even copy your API key, because the API secret comes only once, and this is when you have to see it, or when you can see it. So copy this, head back to your code base, put this right here, right? Or you can even create a .env file right here and just say expo underscore public, and just just put it right here. Still the same thing. If you want to push to production, this is what we have to do. All right, so for our API key, let's head into the API key. So let's just copy this and let's put this right here. So this is what my API key and secret looks like, and the base URL, this is what it looks like. So let me just go into my API endpoint. So the endpoints that we're using for this project, these are the endpoints, virtual try on. So if you go to my Brave right here, click on OK for this. You set up your, all right, so that actually created earlier. So let me just, remove this one. Let me remove this. This is the only one we have. I'll make sure that it still matches what you have, right? IDQ. So make sure that is IDQ, all right? So while here, you're going to need some credits, right? So let's go and create a credit. So click on this and go to wallet. Go to your wallet and coupons. Go to coupons. Go to your coupons and just type in Wiro 25. So just use coupon. And you can see coupons successfully added. $25 of coupon, free for you to test this build with me. So if you go to your wallet, you're going to see $26 right there for you to use the API endpoint. So if you go to your models, all right, show all models. So the first one we are going to try is let's check back to their home and let's go to edit images. So the first one we're going to try is this virtual try on. So if you click on this, just click on try now. Click on try now, and if you go to your API integration, you can check Node.js, and you can just scroll to see what the API looks like. As you can see, this is what the base URL looks like, right? Wiro. Then each of these models that you're going to specify is going to come with virtual try on, nano banana, and all of the likes. All right, so this is what those endpoints are: virtual try on, video generation, caption generation, tax details. This is to get the specific tax you are running. So if you are generating an image, you want to be able to check the details of that tax, if it has completed or not. All right, so for the API endpoint, these are there. Then the video config, right? We want to be able to set the video config. If you check, there are API models. So let me just go back to models. Let's check text to video right here. And if you check on Sora right here, if you check on Sora, you have ability to upload an image, of course, with the prompt. But you can also now specify, the seconds, 4:8:12, the resolution 720 180p, and also either ratio is going to be 16:19 or 9:16 or auto. This is what we're using that to specify. All right, so we can change this to, instead of 720, 1080p. All right, but this is definitely going to cost you more in credit, so let's just leave that for now. The default caption configs, right? This is the selected model we are using. So if you check their models again, all models, and we're just going to check LLMs like we checked the other time, LLMs. And if you check RAG charts, this takes or gives the ability to upload an image and tells the AI to analyze that image. All right, so as you can see, or any document per se, this is what the API allows you to do, uploading of document and all of that. So the configs, how do you know the configs? Go to API integration, node, and this is the HTTP post request. So the model, as you can see, 617, and you can choose different models from, these are the models right here. So if I click on open AI, right, and if you go back here, you're going to see the selected model will change. All right, so this is where you can specify things, selected model, EP document, and all of this. All right, So this is what this look like, the temperature, topic, all of these are in the documentation really. This is you just setting how things should be. So after this, we have your try on configs. Style for the try on basically is if you're picking a model to wear your crochet or your sneakers, you can specify if the style you want for that trial is going to be outdoor, studio, or all of that. And how do I know that? If you go back to the model, go back to all your models, and let's just go back to home and click on this virtual try on. You are going to go to advanced configurations, and you can see where you have posture. The posture is going to be either sitting, standing, side profile, right? Or you pick this new headshots, medium, wide, right? And also virtual try on, studio, photography, indoor, outdoor. So this is the outdoor way we are using, right? So that is why this configuration is there. Pose, auto, and all of that. So these are some of the configurations that are quite important, right? Polling config, the internal. So this basically checks frequently how long you should update the UI if there is a change. Tag status, queue, tags queue, start, tag has started. So if I just go to, let me go to my model, show all model. And if you go to LLMs, I believe. So all LLMs, if I just click on charts and I say, okay, what is the capital of Turkey, right? So Meta is what I want to use as my base model, or I can specify OpenAI. All right, let me just clear this. Let me change this again. So let me see, what is the capital of Turkey? Once I click on run, all right, and here you're going to see what it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you 0.0006 per second. As you can see, your tags are started. And if you just check the debug output, you're going to see some interesting things of what is actually going on. And you can see the progress right here, tags queue, and all of that. And this is still loading, by the way, so just give it a second. And also you can check the request parameter, that is what you're sending to the API. So this is what that looks like. So the debug output analysis, we need to answer the question capital of Turkey, it's Ankara. It's straightforward, no issues. The capital of Turkey is that. So this is how. So this is what that does basically. You can click this to bring this back. As you can see, tags, posts, and all of that. What is the capital of Turkey? Ankara, as you can see. So if I bring this down, all of those processes, this is where you can set them because you're using TypeScript, all right? And they are constant, they don't change. So finally here you have, you just exporting tag status queue and all of that. So next thing, image utilities, right? We need to be able to pick image and also compress that image. This is what that package does for us basically. You can find this anywhere on the internet. So this is us using image constraints, the width 1920, quality 0.8, so that we have to compress it before sending to the AI. The request camera roll permission. If you want to take pictures with your phone for the product, this is where you set the permission, or you ask for the permission. So request for camera permission, pick an image from the gallery. This is basically in Expo documentation. So export async function. So if you need to take a photo with your camera, this is the function that does that. And if you need to optimize the image, that is by compressing it before you send it to the AI, this is the function that does that. And also if you need to get the file size from an image URI, right, this is the function that does that. And format some bytes that you receive from the AI or the API into readable human size. This is the function that does that. So validate image URI if it's valid JPEG, PNG or WebP, right? This is the function that does that. All right. So the progress parser, this is basically what we're going to be getting from the AI, right? This is what it looks like. This is the example. It is our job to parse this so that it looks more properly readable and just show progress of like 75%, 56% and all of that. So if you minimize this, these are the functions that does that basically. So if you go to your query client as well, this is just a basic, Stack React query, setup to define if you want to retry if a query failed, because sometimes if you upload a product, send it to the API, it might fail. All right, you want to be able to retry it after a certain amount of times, and how much or how long should it keep the data? 5 minutes, cache time 10 minutes, refresh on window focus false, and yes. So use generation is where things get interesting. These are the functions that would call the API. We are still going to walk you through the API. So hook for running generation tags and polling for results. This is what it looks like. Content creation item. It takes in some certain parameters, ID, type, status, tax ID, and all of that. And this is what some of the functions looks like. On sources, this is what we do. Add item. If we started the virtual try on show this, right? On error, show this toast. All right. So this is for video generation, and if you keep scrolling up, this is for caption generation. All right. And here, recover tags. In case you're running a particular task and it fails, you can click on retry to check the status of that API you're running. So this is basically what those guys do. And yeah, this is everything, the utilities that we need. So the type, if you click on this type, this is what the types look like. Is what it needs, the tax ID, socket access, the tax output, the tax item, tax detail, and all of these stuffs. All right. So basically these are TypeScript, right? Because we're using TypeScript in our code. So back in our store, we're still going to write some code, right? This is just like 20% of what we're going to write, because we're going to write a lot of code. So this is our store, basically used to keep our items that was generated, and also remove them, update them, or get their status and all of that. You see, set current image, set current human image, right? Set current clothes image, add item, update item, remove item, right? So I believe an intermediate developer should know how to do that. So your services, signature, this, or one of the interesting things about Wiro AI is that they run a tight system, authentication system, whereby they kind of use HMAC, SAH256 signatures, which means that your secrets never leaves your server, right? So the secrets you have in your constant, they are safe on the server, right? In our own case, we're using it in server side, but in production, you want to proxy those calls through your backend. All right. So this is what that looks like. You're using crypto.js, to kind of generate your HMAC signatures. All right. And this function basically generates authentication headers for multi-part form data used for uploading image endpoints. And this is for generating JSON headers. All right. So this is what we have in our services. And before we leave here, Wiro APIs, right? So these functions is going to be image to form data, run virtual try, or these are basically functions to generate all of these APIs that they provide for us. And like I said, you can find everything here in your API integration. All right. So if you just click on, make HTTP posts, this is what everything that we're setting is, right? So get tags detail, undo error, basically all of the APIs we're using. All right, so run video generation for generating the videos for the product, caption to generate caption or Instagram captions for the product, and also virtual try on. All right, so these are the services, right? And let's just add into, let me add it to my index. And if I just change this to, let's say hello world, save that, you can see the changes right there. All right, so to start with, really we are going to check what we have in our image right here. So these are the things that we want to implement, right, as our onboarding screens. All right, so just minimize this and let's create this. We have the images already inside of, to check your assets, you have the images right here. So you have board 1, you have board 2, and you have board 3. All right, so it's our job to just implement those right away. So inside of your index, all right, let's just close this, Ctrl B. We are going to set some things up inside of this, inside of our index gate, right? So what do we want to set up? So first things first, we want to first remove everything possible that we can remove. So just Ctrl A and remove everything and just say export default function index gate. All right, and inside of these I want to say just return redirect then href. What are we going to have inside of that href? We're going to have tabs. All right, so where is the redirect going to come from? As you can guess, we go to the top of our code base and say import redirect from Expo router. Why do we want to redirect to tabs? Because after a user comes into this screen, we want to see if they are onboarded yet. If they're onboarded, we don't need to show them all of these all over again, right? If they are not, just send them to onboarding so they can see our cute onboarding, right? So after this, I want to say if, let's create some method first and say const, or let's create some states, say is loading and set is loading. My bad. Set is loading to use effects, and this is going to be true by default. So just take these up and say import use state from React, not use effects rather. Also, you're not going to say const. We're going to create a boolean to track if a user has seen our onboarding screen or not. So as seen onboarding on board, BOA as seen onboarding, then set as seen onboarding to false as well, or null by default. Let's set this to null, right? And so after this, we are going to say if, right, if is loading is true, or as seen onboarding is strictly equal to null, right? What do we want to do in that conditional statement? We want to just say return null. All right, so after this, we want to say if he has not seen the onboarding, right, then we want to say return redirect. Where do you want to redirect them to your onboarding? And as you can guess, you don't have your onboarding, so let me just minimize all of this. So inside of this, let me just right click here and just create a new folder real quick, or a new file rather, and I'm going to call, let me call this onboarding.tsx. And inside of this, you can say React functional exports. And what do we really want to call this? So let's just take this up and say onboarding. All right, make sure it's the same. Change this to onboarding as well. Save this so that the error we are having here will disappear. So if you save this will take us to onboarding actually, because onboarding is not true, right? So if I save this, you can see nothing, right? Let me just reload the app. Reload. So if we go to our onboarding, let's just set some basic fees so that we can see if we're actually redirected. So let's have a class thing here that says flex of one, items of one, and let's just pass this as the default value. So we're seeing nothing yet. Let's close all of these, or let's stop our server, clear it, start our server all over again. We're just going to reload the app so that we can see it will be redirected to our onboarding screen. Let's give this a moment. So just reload. We reload our app and we can bring this down. So that is not all what we have for our index, right? We still have to fetch something, right? We have to check our onboarding status from our state, because we're not just going to rely on this. We want to use async storage, right? So with this, or just above this, we're going to say use effects, right? And we're going to pass in an arrow function inside of it, an arrow function. Then we're going to pass an empty dependencies for now. So inside of this, what we want to do is create a variable called const checking on boarding, right? It's going to be async an asynchronous function. All right, then after all of these, let's just quickly check the onboarding and pass it in there, right? So inside of this, what do we want to have? We want to have a try and catch. What are we catching? Then we're catching the errors. Oops, we're catching the errors. And finally, we know what we're going to do, right? Which is set loading to false. Then just above these, the errors, just set as seen onboarding, set it to true in case we have any error, right? So we can pass in the type here, and we can call these boolean or null. So those are the type that we can pass inside of this state. So that error should disappear. Now to the main guy here, we're going to say const flag is going to be equal to await async storage dot get item, and that item is going to be as seen onboarding board boar as seen onboarding. We're going to import our async any moment from now. So underneath of this, we're now going to set as seen onboarding, if flag is strictly equal to true. That is when we are going to have that there. So just above this, we're going to import async storage from async storage. Save that. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, our index is really all done, right? As you can see, our onboarding is showing right here, which means that we actually have not gone through all the onboarding stages, right? So while this is showing you, I don't want it to show you at all. I want the onboarding to be outside of the tabs. So do you want to move onboarding into app? Move it there, right? As you can see, we are just seeing our index for now, but let me just open my app. Let me reload. It should take me to my onboarding screen. All right, so like I said, that is where we're going to have all of these guys. So let's start right away. let's go into our onboarding. So all of this, I want to remove all of this and say export, right? Default function onboarding screen, right? So inside of this, I'm going to immediately pass a return, and we are going to have a view here, not just a view, an animated, animated dot view. So right underneath of this as well, animated dot view. Let me remove all of this. So if I head to the top, let me just import animated from React Native. All right, actually let's import that from React Native reanimated. All right, so after that, so we want to pass in a style here, and the style was going to be like, is actually going to be an array first, right? And we're going to pass two different Codebases inside. So inside of this, we're going to say flex is going to be of 1, and inside of the second one, we're going to say animated, container style. Where is that going to come from? We are going to go to the top of our code right here and say const animated container style is going to be assigned to use animated style, as you can see, coming from React Native reanimated, and it's going to be a method as well, but we're going to pass in a function inside of it. All right, so inside of this, we definitely need to return something. What are we returning? We're returning background, not just background, background color, because we are dynamically changing the background of all of these guys, so we have to set that in the view. All right, so after this, where is bg going to come from? We're going to create a variable called bg, and we are going to say this is going to be an interpolate, right? Interpolate color, not just interpolate, right? So this is going to be slide index dot value. Slide index of value, we're going to create that any moment from now. So basically, this method takes in some important things, takes an array as well as the properties, and we're going to have 0, 1, 2, right? Because it's just 3 items that we are rendering as our onboarding, right? And we're going to pass in these default colors, right? So if you just head to the top of your code, right here, just quickly create the slide index, and we're going to say const slide index is going to be assigned to use shared value, and the default color it's starting with is 0. Where is this going to come from? This is going to come from React Native reanimated. All right, so after that, let's bring this down. So the colors that I want is definitely not these guys. The last color here is going to be F3D0, F3D0 BC. So after this, we want to have 7E D6 DF, and after this, we are going to have F4 C637. All right, so while that is almost ready, let me see if we need to do anything else. So that throws an error, and also let's see why this is. So we definitely did not need this inside of a Codebases. So let me just remove that Codebases. That should fix that error. All right, so first things first, that's that. You are tempted to set the key current with the value undefined. So after that is said and done, don't worry about the error, it should leave in a bit. So After this, we are going to create an app intro slider. Right, it's going to be a self-closing tag like this. And where is that coming from? Basically, if you go to the top of our code right here, we can say import app intro slider from React Native app intro slider. So let's bring this down. Inside of this, it takes some important props. All right, so one of the first thing it takes is definitely, a data. Right, we're going to pass in the data anyway from now. Render item, this is going to be assigned to render item. We're going to create this function. Let's even pass in the data right here. I just called it slide. And let's just quickly go to the top of our code. Just outside of this, we're going to say const slides, and this is going to be assigned to a slide type, right? And we're going to pass in an array right here. So it's going to take in several keys. Right, the first one is going to be called key, lowercase key. I'm going to call this 1, 1. All right, so let me remove this. After this, we're going to say title. We're going to call this create viral ready. After this, I'm just going to create the first one, then duplicate for the rest as well. Subtitle, we're just going to say content fast. So what are we missing? We can't have this here, so that error should disappear fast. So just save this. Still going to throw an error, but let's just continue fixing that. So text that is going to show underneath is going to be generate eye catching visuals in minutes with streamlined workflows. Then the image we're going to use is going to look like this, but not just onboarding one. We just have board one because that's what exists in our code base. So that's all we have. All right. So let me just copy all of this. Ctrl C. Then inside of this, paste this. Then inside of this as well, paste this as well. So for the key, change this to 2, change this to 3. We can always change the contents later. All right, so let's quickly create this render item that it says is missing. So inside of this, just say const render item. We're going to have this looking like this. All right, and we're just going to have a view here, just simple like that. So let's go to the top of our code. Let's see if we have view import yet. So let's just say import view from React Native, so that error should disappear. Let me quickly create this type here and say type slide is going to be all of these properties. Because you've already defined them here, it was able to automatically help us define all of that. So as you can see, things are shaping up already. This is the first screen. If I swipe left and right, you're not seeing anything yet, but we still have a lot to do with regards the color that will be shown. All right, so inside of this, all right, we're still going to say on done. Right, when we are done, we want to click on undo done. We want to click on that function and it does some particular thing. On skip as well, undo skip, right? And we also want to say show skip button to be true, just like that. We don't need to pass in the value to it. So after this, we want to say on slide change, all right. We want to now say we want to pass in a function, right, that looks just like this. So inside of this, we are going to pass in I, right, for index. If you want to be specific, let's create a variable. This is going to be next, and what this next is going to do is we're going to have, so we are going to say I as number. That's the first variable we're creating. Then after this, right, we're going to say slide index dot value, all right, is going to be equal to wait timing, all right, and we're going to say next, comma, then duration. Then we're going to pass in 450 inside. With timing, where is it coming from? It's coming from React Native reanimated. So after this, our on slide change is ready. Next, we want to say render, next button, right, and just pass in a Codebase like this. So what do you want to pass here? Basically a text that says next, and the text class name is going to be equal to padding h of 4, padding y of 2, text of this, font of semi bold. All right, so let's go to the top of our React Native and let's just import text. All right, so why is that error still being shown? And that is because inside of this we're actually supposed to pass the function, right? So they only work with the function. So you can now guess we're going to cut all of these, cut this and put this right here. All right, so that error disappears. Let me quickly create this undo done and undo skip so that we don't encounter any error. So let's just say const undo done. Let's just use this. Let me import async from that. Then normally we're supposed to route the user to that section. Even this, let me comment it out first. And let me just pass in a console.log right here and say console.log. Just click on done. Then the undo skip as well. That is what it does. All right, so let me save this and fingers crossed we do not have any error. As you can see, our skip button is being showed, right? So if I swipe left and right, you're going to see the color changes, right? So that is the power of reanimated. As you can see, the animation was smooth. So right here after this, we are going to say render. After we've rendered the next button, render the skip button. Basically going to be the same thing, and also render done button. All right, so save this. As you can see, the color for the skip change, and this is what we have so far. All right, so for the render done button, instead of just showing done, I want to show get started. So if you swipe to the last guy, you can see it shows get started. All right, so next thing we want to do is actually implement our functions. So whenever we click on undo done, what does it do? Undo skip, what does it do? But before we even do that, let's set up our render item so at least we see some interesting things on the screen. So inside of this, let me just highlight all of this and let me pass it inside of a bracket like this. And inside of here, let me bring this back. I'm going to say class name. Alright, class name is going to be flex of 1, item of center, justifier of center. Another view is going to be here, and this view is going to be called, class name that we want to have here is going to be width of full, height of 40%. Then after that, items center and justify center. I believe we're outside of, so cut this, put this inside of there, save this. All right, so after this is where we want to pass our image, and inside of this I just want to say source. So we have source as item.image and also style width. We are going to remove all of these and say style is going to be width of 100%, height of 100%, and resize mode is going to be of contain. The image is showing an error because we are still here to import image from, let's import image from React Native. So item is showing an error, and that's probably just a type error and it is actually missing. So just say item, right? Item is going to be item and pass that type to it. So save that. As you can see, this is all of our images, right? And that is because we're using the same image in our array right here. So if I just change this to board 2, change this to board 3, so if I swipe left and right, the images are going to be quite different. So that is what we have so far. Let me minimize that. Right, so I want to have a view right here. I want to have effects. What would this text say? The first text is going to say item.title, item.title. Save that. We should see effects. If you don't see it, no issues. Let's pass in a style here, items of left, justify of center, width of full, and padding x of 6. Save that. If you're still not seeing anything, that's alright. That's because our image is containing all of the space. So inside of our style for the text, let's just pass in something here and say class name is going to be what? Margin top of 8, text of 4XL, font of bold, text of left. Save this, and something is hindering that. Let me just have a background blue of 500 right here to actually see if anything is showing. These are actually showing, but not showing the way I want it to look like, and that's because our image right here is not closed off. So save that. You should see your content right there. So remove this and let's forge ahead with things. Let's pass in the subtitle, text, everything. We're going to style them one after the other. So after the item.title, right, we have item.subtitle as well, but instead of font of bold, we're going to have a font of, what do you have, medium right now. We're going to have bold right here. Text, same thing as 4XL, no margin top whatsoever, so the same thing right there. All right, so after this, for the item.text, margin top of 3, text of XL, and also max width of, let me pass in 80%. All right, text color, let's just specify, let's say 800, and let's remove these guy right here. So save these. This is what things are looking like right now. All right, so after this, you can guess what next we need to do is just implement our function. Whenever we click on skip, where does it take us? Whenever we click on next, where does it takes us really? All right, so for our image, let's just just type any, really, so that we get rid of this type error. So after that, right, let's even first pass in the appropriate content inside of the respective places. So for the title for this one, this is going to be different. This is going to be AI try-ons, right? So inside of this, we are going to say and video generation. So for all of these, let me remove all of this. And what do I want to have inside of the text here? I'm going to say preview styles. It's AI try ons and produce what? Short form videos. Right, so the second content, this is what you look. If I save it, you're going to see that gets changed immediately, as you can see. So moving on, the third content, which is this, what I want to have here is going to be save, share, and right here I'm going to say grow your gallery. So let me remove all of this and say, instead of let's just have save your favorite content and share it with your friends. That is not what we have in our UI right here, but that works as well. You have organized results, share them, and keep inspiration in one place. You know what, I'm just going to remove all of this. Let me remove all of this and instead say organize results, share them, and keep inspiration in one place. Save that. You should see that content right away. So ladies and gentlemen, our onboarding screen is shaping up. Next we want to do is let's implement our function like we've been saying. Right, so let's go inside of our undo done. So inside of our undo done, what we basically want to do is set the onboarding as seen onboarding, set it to be true. Let's go to the top of our code. Let's import async storage from React Native async storage. And now we want to take our user. Where do we want to take them? Take them to tabs, right? Let's go to the top of our code. Import use router from Expo router. Then just after this, we are going to see const router is going to be coming from the use router method. So save this. Basically, this is what we want to do in our undo done. So whenever a user clicks that, we change this value to true so that whenever they open the app again, they don't see that onboarding screen again. It's quite beautiful, but we don't want them to be seeing that every time. So for the undo skip as well, something similar, right? And we might as well just remove this. We can as well remove this. The undo skip is going to do the same thing, right? So let's just head to our undo skip right here and just pass undo done. They do the same thing. If you click on done, it takes you to the tab. If you click on skip, it takes you to the tab as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are done with our onboarding screen. It took us quite some time, around 30 something minutes, to get that resolved. But hey, we're able to properly implement our onboarding screen. So if we click on skip, it does the same thing as if you click on get started. So ladies and gentlemen, in 3, 2, 1, let's click on that. 3, 2, 1, fix us to the tabs, right? So if I just reload this, let me reload this, and I can promise you that you're not going to see that onboarding again, because our A6 storage has taken care of that. All right, so now that onboarding is out of the way, let's close this. Let's close this, and inside of our index we can as well close this. Let's open the sidebar. Let's close this constant, minimize everything. Inside of our app, inside of tabs, inside of index is where we want to pass in everything. So if I just say let's have class name to be flex of 1, and this, you're going to see the text in the center. So let's see what that looks like. So for this home screen, what we are going to be building for that is this screen. Looks really beautiful, and a lot is actually going on inside of this home screen, where the functionalities are you have to upload the person's image and also your brand image, right? Clicking on generate content is going to generate the content, and you're going to have a gallery to see what was generated actually, right? So this is what we'll be building for these components. Let's just jump right into it. We are going to change this. Let's change this to save area view coming from React Native save area context, and also have this here. So inside of this, I'm going to have flex 1 bg white. Let's say bg white. All right, so save this. So basically that, make sure that our text or information is not going below or under what we are going to have here. Let me have a status bar from React Native. Bar style, change it to dark content so that you can see what I'm talking about. So this if area view, this index doesn't go under the important details right there. So just underneath of this, I'm going to have, let me have a comment here. Oops, let me close this. Let me have a comment right there that says header, and inside of this header I'm going to have a view and also a text right here. We're going to call this viral kits. So let me just import that right away from React Native. All right, so just save this for now. Let's see what that looks like. Then I can as well pass in padding X of 4, and also the edges I want that to be applied to. I want it to be top alone. If we check our images right here, you can see that it's not supposed to cut out of here. It's supposed to like show to the entire bottom right here before it gets cut off. That is what this does, right? So let me minimize this. After so inside of the header, the view, right, class name, what do I need to pass here? Let me just pass in border B, border gray 200, padding X of 6, padding Y of 4. Save this. Then also I want this to be very big, 3XL. Why is this? And also, don't we have 3XL? We do have 3XL, but let me just remove this. Let me remove that. Change this to 2XL back. Let's see. Okay, that's weird. Font bold, text of gray 900, and I can as well just remove this actually. So that's back. I don't know why it's fluctuating, which is not good. Instead of equal to, let's pass this. So we're going to call that viral kit. So underneath of this, I'm going to call this text. I'm going to say create stunning content or stunning social media content with AI. Save this. Then after this, say class name, right? I'm going to have text of gray 600, margin top of 1. All right. So after this, I'm going to have a scroll view, and it's going to wrap around all our content. So inside of this scroll view, I want to pass in the parameters. So inside of this, I'm going to say class name flex of 1. Then after this, I'm going to say content container style. Right. I'm going to say padding. I'm going to call this 24. Then padding bottom, I'm going to set it to 200. So after this, just underneath of this, I'm going to say show vertical indicator to be false. Then after all of this, I'm going to have our first guide here, which is going to be an image uploader. Right? Because we've imported some of the default things, I'm sure we can be able to build this ourselves, which is the image uploader. We don't have it yet, right? So let's just quickly pass in the mode. The mode for this is going to be try on. All right, so let's go to top of our code, and let's just say let's import what image uploader from our component image uploader, or we can as well just say // right, or just make it 2. All right, so that is missing. Let's go to our code base, and let's scroll up, and let's just right click this to open our components, passing the components right there. So inside of this, let's create a new file. What are we going to call this? Image uploader.tsx. So inside of this, let's quickly create a function, export default function image uploader. All right, and just after this, let's return a function right here. Let's just return a view. That's all. So let's go to top of our code. Let's just import these two guys from. So let me just say right here as well, import the text as well. So yes, inside of this, I want to have a class name width of full. Cool stuffs. So let me go back inside of my components right here. Image uploader. Let me bring this so that disappears, so we don't see any error showing on our screen. Let's go to the image uploader. Should you to see this text? But let me just reload things, and it seems it imported our scroll view from where we don't want it. So let me just remove this. Scroll view is going to come from React Native. All right, so inside of our index, let's just reload. Let's reload our app. Exactly. So inside of this, I can as well remove this. If you're not seeing anything for now, that should fix that right away. So inside of this, I want us to be able to pick the image, right, for both the human, which is this and this. All right, so let's quickly do that. So before we implement that, I can even show you an interesting thing. As you can see the app right here, I'm trying to submit it to Apple to make sure they approve it so that we can actually see how it looks like on each of you guys' devices, and you can give me feedback of how things look. So this is the progress so far. It has changed to review. Apple has been checking my app for like an hour. I don't know why that is taking so long, but kudos to them. So let me just bring this up. Back here inside of my uploader is where I want to set some interesting things, right? I want to first say let me bring this here and say I want to show the image preview. All right, I'm going to say if current image is true. All right, I want to show something. Else, I want to show something else. Let me just pass in a fragment here. No image selected, and right here as well. Let me pass a fragment. Right. So inside, if our current image is true, I want to have a view here instead of a fragment. So I want to have a view here. Let me have the view here as well. So basically what I want to say is I have a class name right here. This is going to be relative. All right, then I want to have image right here. I want to have an image right here as well. So you know what, I can as well just quickly import my store because I've already created that. So current image is coming from not use image uploader, it's coming from use content store, this right here, and just pass that straight forward. So let's bring in our image as well. So our image right here. To save this, no image selected, right? Let me remove this. Let me remove this. So inside of my image, right, I want to say the source is going to be URI current image. Class name is going to be what? Width of full, height of 64, rounded of 2XL. Then after this, resize mode is going to be cover, not contain. Cover wants this image right here to fill the screen, right? So that's one. We don't have any image selected, that's why no image selected is showing. Then we want ability to be able to change that image even though we've selected something. So let's just add a pressable right here coming from React Native. Then inside of this, I'm going to, it's going to be a component like this, and let me say ion icons. Inside of this is going to have a name, and name is going to be of images. Import that from Expo vector icons. Images size is going to be of 24. Color is going to be what? Ash 7C3AED. Save that, and inside of the pressable, I'm going to have onPress, and this onPress is going to basically be assigned to undo pick image method, which we are going to be creating right here. So I'm going to say const undo pick image. It's going to be assigned to async. All right, we're going to have a try catch. We're going to catch the error
and also finally, right, this is what that would look like for now. So we are done with the first part of things. So if no image exists at all, right, I want to first say I'm going to keep this fragment right here, right, but we're going to have upload area, upload area, and after this I'm going to have, you know, a camera button, right. So after this I'm going to have a pressable, right. Inside of this pressable I'm going to say if loading is true, right. If loading is true, I'm going to show something else. So if loading is true, as you can guess what I'm going to show here, just an activity indicator coming from React Native. Size is going to be small. This is going to be the color AED. So else, if loading is not true, all right, I'm going to show, let me render a fragment here as well. And inside of this, what are we going to have right here? We're going to have an ION icons instead of images. All right, we are going to have cloud upload outline. Size is going to be 64. Color is going to be that. So after this, we're going to also have effects. And we're going to say upload product photo. Let me pass in a class name there. Class name. I'm going to say class name. What is a class name going to look like? Text of large, font of semi bold, text of purple, 900, margin top of 4. Save this. We're going to get the loading error, which is okay. Then underneath of this, we're going to have a text as well. We're going to say cap to select from library. All right, so now let's bring in our loading, right? It's just going to be a use state. So let's go to the top of our code base. So underneath of this, we're just going to say const loading, set it to use state, and import that from React like this. So the loading error should disappear. As you can see, our icon shaping up gradually. So inside of our pressable, right, let's style this properly. On press is going to be undo, pick image. Class name is going to be what? Absolute. Then bottom is going to be 4. Right is going to be 4. BG is going to be of white. Rounded is going to be of full. Padding of 3. Shadow of large. Oops, we got an error, though we're going to fix that error right away. After the loading disabled, is going to be of loading. So things are shaping up but hiding anyway. So what are we doing wrong? Let me check my image uploader right here, and we are supposed to have this. We are supposed to have all of this scroll view outside. So cut this, and just after this, put this right here. Save this, and that is how that should look. So right here, let me just pass in flex of 1. So back in my image uploader, I can as well just, let's take this back. Let's remove everything here, right, and just say border 2. Save this first. Exactly, that is what we want. Then border dashed, border purple 300 rounded of 2xl, padding of 8, items of center, justify of center. Alright, then bg purple 50. Save this, and that is what you have right there. So let's continue with our code base. So for the camera button, let me minimize this. For the camera button right here, let's just have the view, and this view, let me just bring this up. We will say class name is going to be flex of row, items of center, justify of center, margin top of 4, gap of 2. Inside of this, I'm going to have a view again, and it's going to actually be a self-closing one. Class name is going to be text of gray 500, text of small, and inside of this is going to be hpx background gray of 300, flex of 1. You're going to see what I'm doing in a bit. So also have a text right here. What this text is going to say is all. Then I'm going to have text gray 500, text of small. Alright, so after this, I'm going to have a view right here, and I'm just going to have this. So basically same thing, height of this, background gray 300, flex of 1. Alright, so you can see what that looks like. And after this, I'm going to show take photo. Alright, I'm going to take photo button and just bring this up. So after this, right, I'm going to say press able. Alright, then inside of this, I'm going to have ion icons, going to be size of 24. So after this, we're going to have a text. We're going to have a text right here. It's going to say take photo. Alright, say not stock photo, nobody talks photo. Class name is going to be text focal 900, font semi bold, margin left of 2, text of this. Alright, so after that, let's just pass in some interesting things in our pressable. And let me just come here and say on press is still going to be a function, but this function is going to say undo take photo. We don't have that created yet. We're going to create that in a moment. When do we want to disable this? We want to disable this if loading is true, right? Then class name is going to be margin top of 4, bg of white, border of 2, border of purple 300, rounded of xl, padding y of 4, padding x of 6, flex of row, items of center, and finally justify center. Alright, so before we leave here as well, right here, let's say active opacity set to 0.7, and I believe this only works on touchable opacity. That's the only time this active opacity works. So let me just change that to that. So right here, let me just const and take photo. Just have that as the default value there. So save this. You should see what that looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's implement our function to pick an image or to take the photo. So inside of this, let's deal with our errors first and just say alert dot alert. Now say error, right? Fail to take or pick, fail to pick photo. All right, then we're going to pass in error dot message. All right, so let me just import alert from, let me just import that. So let's go right here and let's just remove this and just have error dot message, and let's just pass in a tag here that says any. So after this, we are going to say fail to pick image. So save that. That is for logging our error. Finally, set loading to be false. Save that. So inside of the try is where things get interesting, really interesting. Set loading, set it to true. Const URI is going to be await and pick image from library. All right, now I'm going to say if, right, URI is true, then want to also say if what, if the mode is strictly equal to try on. Where are we bringing our mode, by the way? The mode is going to come from our image uploader here. So inside of this, I'm going to first have on image selected, and also mode, and the mode is going to be optional, by the way. I'm going to have single try on, right? So this is what that will look like. So before we leave here, just after this, we're going to pass a type right here called image uploader props. So save this and see if you're having an error right here. Why are we having an error? Just after this, let's say interface image uploader props. Then inside of this, on selected or on image selected, set the URI string, which is going to be a function, but for now void. Mode is going to be either single or try on. Then why are we getting this error? What are we doing wrong? On selected, on image selected, mode is going to be single. Mode is going to be single. So that error should disappear. So this is where we want to have the type, not here. That was a mistake from our end. So where do we get this pick image from library from? Remember that we imported some things in our utilities. So let's bring this from pick image from library utils, image utils, and this error should disappear. So if the mode is try on, all right, if the image is try on, let me say else, let's just have this like this, set current image to URI, and on image selected, set it to URI as well, but that's if it exists. So inside of this, I want to have another if statement. Oops. We'll say if, right, if the type is strictly equal to human, then what do I want to do? I want to set current image human image, right? Else if the type is clothes, then I want to set current clothes image to the URI of that. So where is the type going to come from? Inside of our async right here, let's pass in our type. Our type is going to be human or clothes. So let's bring in our set, our use state right here, or rather let's see where we are bringing things. So after the loading, after the current image, let's bring in everything that we need here. So let's just say set current image, set current human image, set current clothing image. These are some of the methods that we already have from our store. So undo pick image, I believe that is done. Let me minimize this, right? And let's even test if it's working, right? So save these. Now let's pick an image right here. So if I just click this, tap this, it says experience need permission and all of this, basically showing you that we need permission for you to pick images from your directory on your phone. So if you click on allow, we get to see several images that I have right here. All right, so if I just click on image right here and pick, let me just zoom in and pick on choose, you're not seeing anything yet, right? No issues at all. We are going to fix that in a bit. So the reason that might not be showing is because where we are showing our image, current image, we need to set these up properly. So before we leave here, let me change this to be, let's say class name is going to be absolute, right? Absolute bottom 4, right of 4, bg of white, rounded of full, padding of 3, shadow of large. Save this, and that's in case an image exists. We are going to see a nice right icon showing just like what we have right here. This is what we just implemented. All right, let's pick our image again and let's see why it's not showing. Choose that, and so let's just continue with our undo pick image. Let's implement the undo take photo. All right, and let's just move ahead with things for now. We're going to come back to fix that. So the same thing that we have right here, everything here. So just copy all of this, come right here and paste this right here. All right, so the type, we're going to have the type right here as well, human or clothes. All right, so instead of pick photos or pick image from library, we are going to say take photo, and this is going to be coming from utilities and image as well. So set this to that and change this to set field to take photos, and that is pretty much that. So after this, we are still going to do pass in another function and say want to render try on mode, right, 2 images. So after this, I'm going to say if mode is going to be try on, right, and our image uploader, we are actually passing the mode as try on, but something is still missing right here. All right, as you can see, it's missing the type mode try on, but required in the props. So inside of the props, let me check my props. This is going to be optional as well, so that error should first disappear. All right, so after this, where we have inside of this, all right, then I'm going to say return. What am I going to return? I'm going to return a view. All right, inside of this view, what I'm going to have image human image section, and what this is going to say is it's going to have a view here. I'm going to say class name is going to be margin bottom of 4. Inside of this, I'm going to, let me scroll up. I'm going to have a text right here. This is going to say person image. Save this. As you can see, things are shaping up properly, and I'm going to have the class name, text of large, font of semi bold, text of gray 700, margin bottom of 2. That is what I want to have right there. Let me give this some gap. After this text, I'm going to say current human image. All right. If current human image is true, I want to show a view. All right, I want to show a view. Then I want to show an image right here with all of these properties. All right, so current human image, I'm going to import that at the top of my code base right here. Just going to say current human image, current clothes image, which I'm not using yet. So after this, let me first show you what that would look like. So it is until we do this that we're going to see things we've been working on. So save that. Height, instead of 64, let me pass 48, rounded to XL. Then for this, I'm going to say class name is going to be relative. All right, then after this, you're going to have a touchable opacity, and I'm going to have an ION icons, and this is going to be not pencil but images itself, name images itself. All right, so what this function will do is basically the same thing. So it's going to be on press under pick image. We're going to set human to it. Class name is going to be absolute bottom, not 4 but 2, right of 2, background of white, rounded of 4, padding of 2, shadow of large. All right, so after this, let me just minimize this sidebar. We say disable if loading is true. All right, so after that, inside of this, I'm just going to say if that is true, we'll show that, or else just show touchable opacity right here. And first thing I want to show is say if loading is true, right? If loading is true, now I want to show an activity indicator, else I want to show our ION icons right there. Name is going to be images and all of this. Name is going to be images, size, and this. So save this. You see that icon right away. So for the purpose of styling this properly, let me just have an on press and all of these styles suggested by AI, so you can see what that looks like. As you can see, we don't have any image, that's why this is showing right. So let me just click on this, pick this girl's image or this model image, and there you go, you have your first image showing. All right, so what, let me see. So let me just minimize all of this. We can as well remove all of this because they do the same work as this. Basically, this is what that does, and I can pick this again to pick, any image of my choice, and that is updated real quick. So you can see how long it took us to actually finish just the component. So this is what that would look like. Let me change this padding to padding of 14. All right, so let me bring back the model image. This is what the model look like. Now you agree with me that we still need one more thing, which is this clothing image. All right, so right in our image uploader, this is our human image section. Let's copy all of this, copy this, and set this to cloud or cloth image section. Paste the same thing basically, right? But we're going to change some things right here, and here we are going to change this to clothing image. All right, it's showing the same image, but we're going to change all of that in a moment. So instead of this, change this to this, and also this, change this to this, then change this to clothes, and save. We don't have any clothing image yet. Pick this right here and just pick this right here, pick this, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Our image uploader is ready. So let me just minimize all of this. The next thing I want to implement is the ability to click on generate content, and it provides us the image that we've already generated. All right, so right there in my index right here, I'm going to say generate all contents. All right, so generate all content. After this, bring this down. So this is generation section, right? And what I want to do is say current human image, if that is true, right? And the current clothes image is true as well. Then I want to show the content. Let me just bring this back. Let me remove that. What do I want to show? I want to show a fragment, and because these two guys, I don't have them imported yet, let me just go to the top of my code and just say const human image current clothes image. They are both coming from our store. All right, so after this, I want to have a view. All right, inside of this view, the class name, let me bring this up. The class name for this, I want this to be margin top of it. All right, so after this, I'm also going to have another component after this. This is going to be generate all button, so you can click everything at once, but I would advise against this because you need your generated product image first before you actually do this. All right, so right here, I'm just going to say generate all button. So clicking these ones is going to generate both the refined image, your caption, and also your video all at once, right? That's why we want to have this here. And finally, we want to have an info box right here. So first things first, we want to have the buttons showing right away. All right, so right here, I'm going to have effects, and this is generate content. All right, and inside of this, I'm going to say I'm going to have a generation card, which we are still going to implement really soon. So what are we going to have inside of there? Icon is going to be shirts. title. This is going to be virtual try on. The description is going to be try on clothing virtually with AI powered fitting. Then after this, we're going to have a status, and you know what, let's quickly just bring in that. Let's create that right away. So inside of the component, let's create that inside of this, and let's just have a new file. We're going to call this generation card.tsx, and this is going to be export default function generation card. All right, so we have to return something. Let's just return a view for now, and a text that says generate content. So let's just import all of these guys right away. So import view and React Native. Then let's pass in the props, right? Let's pass in the props. What would the props look like? We're going to have an icon. We're going to have a title. We're going to have a description. We're going to have a status. We are going to have an on press. We are going to have a disabled. We are going to have progress message. We are going to have a progress percentage. We're going to have elapsed seconds, and we're going to have on recover. From all of these definitions, you already know what some of them would look like. All right, so let's quickly add a type here, and we are going to see this is going to be generation card props. Automatically this should be able to generate it for us. Interface generation card props. Basically the same thing that we have here, we're having it here as well. So save this, and you know, you can just render some of the things here. Say title, description, and maybe not all, some of this function. Let me just comment this out because these are functions. So inside of my image uploader, let me close this. I'm done with this generation card. Instead of this, let me just go to top of my code and say import generation card from this, and that error should disappear right away. Status, let's pass in a status real quick, and the status for this is going to be try on item dot status else pending. All right, where are we going to get try on item? We are going to create a function for that. All right, so let me just pass in all the remaining parameters. After status, we're going to have disabled. When do you want to disable this component? Right, we want to disable this component if current human image is not true, else if current clothes image is not true, else if is generating, else if try on item status is called or specifically processing, else if try on status is completed. That is when we want to disable these guys. All right, so as you can guess, a lot of things are missing here, but we're going to fix them one after the other. So after disabled, we're going to say progress message, right? It's going to be try on item progress message else, an empty string. Then after that, we want to say progress percentage is going to be try on item dot progress percentage else, 0. Then after this, elapsed seconds also is going to be try on item dot elapsed seconds. All right. Then finally, we're going to have on recover. On recover, what are we going to have on recover? We're going to have try on item. If that is true, then we want to say try on item dot status strictly equal to failed. Oops, it's going to be a string rather. Failed. All right. Then just pass in another function here that says recover tags, try on item. Just pass this. Else undefined. So if we save this, we're going to get several errors, but let's fix some of the things we can fix one after the other. So let's come to the top of our code. Just after this, here in the const try on item, this is going to be coming from, we're going to wrap it around the use memo. All right, and we're going to pass in an arrow function there. We're going to say items dot find, and inside of this we're going to just pass try on to it and pass in the items as well. Let's import as many of these, and use memo is coming from React. So that's the first thing that we've been able to fix there. Try on item is possibly undefined. So current human image, this is supposed to be, let's come under this and say const items. We want to get the latest item for the status display basically, and say use content store and just pass in this, so that error should disappear. All right, so it's generating is the next thing that we want to bring in. So this is also going to be coming from one of our interesting, so we're going to say const is generating, assign this to use generation. Let's go to the top of our code and import it right away. So the main error that we're getting is all of this. By the way, recover that is still missing, right? Let's just import that right away from this. So let's say recover tags. So let's see if we can save this. Let's save this and see if there's any error. No error so far, but we are not seeing the generation card right here. Okay, property of undefined, that's understandable. Try on item is probably what is showing that error. So let me just reload my app real quick and let's see what the error is specifically. Status of undefined. So let's see what we are doing wrong. Try on items, let's set this else pending, right, and all of this as well, because it might not exist by the time we come into our component. That's why all of this error is showing. All right, so let's just reload our app. This should fix this. Exactly, so you have all of these items showing here. All we have to do is just style this properly so that these cards will show right away. So if you go to generation card right here, let's style all of these properly. So for unrecover, this is going to be optional, right? And elapsed seconds as well is going to be optional. No, progress percentage number, and yeah, disabled as well is going to be optional. All right, so this error that is showing here for unrecover should be removed. So let's just head into our generation card and style this properly. So let's remove everything. I know we initially added this, but let's remove everything for now. Inside of this view, right, we want to have a class name called flex of row items of center. Items of center. Then after this, all right, we want to wrap our app inside of a pressable. So let's cut this, put these right here, and pressable is coming from React Native, by the way. So save this, you should see nothing here, and inside of the pressable, where it's going to say press, is going to pass on press to it. Disable is going to be disabled, or is processing. All right, and is processing, we can easily just say const is processing is going to be status strictly equal to processing. Then let me remove this. Let's say const is completed status completed right there. Errors, I know. Let's forge ahead and let's complete some of these things. So the class name as well, let me remove all of this. The class name has to be unique. All right, let's pass in backticks. All right, I say bj white rounded XL, padding of 4, margin bottom of 3, border of 2. Then we're going to have this here and say is completed is true. Then we're going to say border green 200. If that is true, pass that colored, else border purple 200. Wrap everything inside of a string like this. Then after this, right, we are also going to say if is disabled. If disabled is true, disabled is true, right? Else it is processing is true as well. Then just pass opacity of 50. Else just pass an MC string. So save that, and just after this I'm going to say active opacity, set it to 0.7, and I believe that works only on touchable opacity. And let's import that from React Native as well. So first things first, save that. So inside of this, I want to have an icon, as you can see. The interesting thing about this is the icon is going to be, or this component is going to be visible by everything that we have going on right here. Either it's going to be, content for the clothes itself, the image or the video, or the caption. Everything is going to be the same. So for the icon, we're going to have a view right here, and the class name for this is going to be backticks like this. Oops. So inside of this, we are going to pass in the backticks, right, and say width of 12, height of 12, rounded of full items of center, justify of center. Then after this, we are going to say if it's completed is true, then pass bg green of not 200, but let's pass of 100, bg purple of also 100 as well. All right, so save this. That's the background for our icon. Then inside of this, I'm going to say if is processing is true, then I want to have activity indicator, as you can guess. Else, what do I want to have here? I just want to have an icon and icons coming from that, and say name is going to be icon. Let me close this off. Size is going to be 24 and all of this. And this is throwing an error because of our type right here. Instead of just a string, let's say you go to the key of right type of icons dot link map, and this error should disappear. So save this. You see our clothing icon right there. So after the icon, as you can guess, we need to pass the content itself. So this is going to be view, and this is going to be class name. The class name is going to be flex of 1, margin left of 4. After this, we're going to have the text, and the text is going to be class name, and this is going to be text of gray 900 font bold text this. All right, so let me bring in my text right away. So after this, right, I'm going to have file 2. As you can see, my file 2 right there. This also, I'm going to have my description right there. Text of small, margin top of 1. Cool stuffs. Things are shaping up gradually. After this text, right, I'm going to have the progress bar. I'm going to say is processing is true. If processing is true, I'm going to say progress message, else progress percentage is not equal to undefined, else elapsed seconds. All right, that is what I want to have first. If this processing is true, then all of this is true as well. Then and I want to show this. I want to have, let me just have a fragment here to see if things are not going weird. So if processing is true, progress message, or this is what we want to have basically. So it seems we have, let's just bring this here. All right, Let's see. Are we doing something wrong? Yeah, okay. That's supposed to just be 1. So after this, and we are going to have this. I'm going to have a view here. We're going to have a view like this, and inside of this view we're going to have a class name, margin top of 2, then progress bar. Right here we are going to say progress percentage is not equal to undefined. Then we want to show something. All right, we want to show a view. Want to show a view right here, and inside of this view we are going to have class name, margin bottom of 2. I want to have a view right here. I want to have the view right here. Then right here I want to have a class name, flex of row, items of center, justify of between, margin bottom of 1. Then I want to have a text right here. This text is going to be class name, text purple 600, text of XX, font of semi bold. After this we're going to have math.round. We're going to have progress percentage inside else 0. So that is how the first text is going to look. Also after this we are going to have elapsed seconds, and that is also true. I want to have a text just like this as well, and let's just have math.round or math.floor, then pass float. I'm passing that specifically. Let me remove this, and save this. You might not see it yet because we are here to click on it to generate the content. That's why you're not seeing anything for now. So after this, elapsed seconds, just after this, all right, let's have another view. So after this, let's have class name is going to be height of 2 bg, grade of 200, rounded of full overflow of evening. Save that, overflow of evening. So after this we are going to have a view that is going to be self-closing. Class name is going to be height of full bg, purple 500, rounded of full, transition of all. Remove this mistake right there, and after this I'm going to have the style, and the width is going to be progress percentage right there. To save this is for the progress bar. All right, we're going to have for the progress message as well. So after this progress message, and just pass this message like this. And we can also pass not just gray but purple, 600, text XX, and also fonts. So after the progress message, we want to also show the percentage. All right, percentage. So after this, I'm going to say if progress percentage is not true and elapsed seconds is true, then I'm just going to show a text right here, which is say math dot floor, then pass floats. All right, then elapsed seconds, and have that there as well. All right, so we are done with showing our progress indicator when a user initiates clicking the button. So next that I want to implement is if the progress failed, we need to be able to click it and retry it, right? So more like a recovery button. All right, recovery button, I'm going to say if status is strictly equal to failed and on recover, and if both are true, all right, then we can show a view here. We can show a view here, and this basically going to say class name margin top of 2. Save that. Then inside of this, we are going to say progress message is true, and then we want to show something, right? Probably a text with just the progress message. So save this properly. Then also this want to have a touchable opacity, the ability to retry that. So inside of this, I'm going to say, let's say class name, right? Class name is going to be bg purple 100 rounded large, padding y of 2, padding x of 3, flex of row, items, center, justify center. Then also active opacity set to 0.7. Then after this, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost done. As you can see, 0 seconds elapsed. All right, so after this, I'm going to have an icon definitely to refresh, trying again. Let me just remove this. Then a text that says check again. All right, so finally we're just going to have a badge, right? A badge like this. So either showing completed or all of that. So let me minimize this. So after this view, I'm going to have status badge. Then inside of this, I'm going to have a view. Then inside of this, I'm going to have class name margin top of 2, or margin left rather, margin left of 2. Going to have another view here. Class name, this is going to be something like this. I'm using padding x of 3, padding y of 1, rounded of example. Then we are going to pass get status color dot replace. What are we replacing? pg minus, and right here we're just going to say divided by 20. We're going to implement that any moment from now. Let me first remove this. I don't want this here. Get status color, I'm going to fix that in a moment. Fix, bring this up. Then we are going to say get status text. So class name for this as well is going to be get status color, obviously, but I now want to say dot replace writes all of this. So save this. You're going to see an error that get status doesn't exist, which is fine. It's going to be semi-bold, and yes, so now let's go and implement our get status indicators. So we go to top of your code base. Right here you can say const get status color, and right here you're going to say switch. You're going to have a switch statement here. You're going to switch the status, right, and if it is completed, right, then you are going to return bg green 200 and all of that. And if it is failed, you're going to return bg red 200. The default is going to be bg gray 300. So also if it is processing as well, right, I'm going to say case processing return bg yellow instead, bg yellow. So the same thing we're going to have there. Let's just use AI to create all of this. So get status text, if it's completed, return completed. If it's processing, return generating instead of processing, generating. Save this, generating. If it is field, return field. Default should be, let's just pass queued right there. So that error should disappear. Let's reload our app, and ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done with our home screen and generating everything. So as you can see, our default value is queued. So we have these two guys here. If I click on this and you go to your dashboard on Wiro, so if I click this, you can see the only thing that we've done so far is just use this right here. As you can see, this is the only thing we've done, and I can even delete this output. Let me reload that so that everything is fresh, so that once we perform this operation, normally we're supposed to see it in the next screen, which is this, but because we are yet to implement this, we have to first see if it is working first, right? So let's just go back to, let me go back to my Brave right here. So let me click on this. As you can see, I don't think anything is here again. If something is still here anyway, but let's just leave that. So this is the only thing we have now. Now if we perform this operation, it's going to show you some interesting things. All right, so let me just click that. Let me click that. So nothing is showing for now. Let me see, let me check my log. So the current image is null. All right, so let me pick another new image. Pick this, choose this. All right, that's one. Then pick this as well. So click on this. Nothing is showing for now. Let's just continue debugging and see what we did wrong. So for our onPress, so I believe our onPress is missing. All right, which is quite the most important thing that we are supposed to pass. So our onPress, all right, what is it going to look like? It's going to look like this. Undo, undo, generate, undo, generate, try on. And this function is going to check some interesting things. So right here, I'm going to say const undo generate try on. It's going to check 3 things. If our current human image is true, if current clothes image is true, then it's not going to generate our try on, right? So if current human image is not true and current clothes image is not true, we now want to show, an alert that, okay, error, please upload both human and clothes image. So go to the top of your code and just import alert from React Native. Let's just bring this guy right here. Alerts. All right, so save that. Then after this, we are going to say generate try on. It's going to be a method. What are we going to pass there? Human image URI set to current human image. Clothes image URI set it to that. And where is this going to come from? This is going to come from our use generation. So right here, I'm going to say generate try on. All right. So let me save this, and I'm getting an error that I shouldn't be getting. So let me remove this and save this. Let me save this properly. All right, so that was our error. And why is this throwing an error? String is not assigned to type of this. Okay, but anyway, let's just try to generate this image. So if none of these guys exist and we try to click on generate, it won't do, you won't see the results at all. All right, so let me just click on generate. As you can see, it has been disabled. It looks disabled, right? You're going to see a toast any moment from now to actually show you that something is happening. As you can see, virtual try on started, so it's generating. All right, if you check your dashboard and you just reload this, you're going to see what he just sent to the API. Right, Wiro AI is so powerful that they've implemented this, technical way of showing it to the user on the front end that we are sending something. So as you can see, virtual try on, this is the result of the image. All right, and you can see what we sent to the backend. This is what we sent to the backend and all of that. And you can see what it generated in 12 seconds. If I click on this, this is what it looks like right now. So if I minimize this, you can still see that it's still saying generating, but that's because we are yet to tell the API that, okay, after checking, just stop it if it's successful. All right, and we're going to focus on all of that really soon. So we're going to come back to this in a bit. Let's just activate for the video as well. So all of these, copy all of these, and just add video prompt input. So just pass the same thing here, but we're going to be having the icon here as what? Video cam. That's first thing. The title is going to be promotional video. Then the description is going to be create an engaging video showcase of your products. So after that, the status is going to be not try on item, is going to be video on item status. The status else pending. Then undo press is going to be undo generate video. We're going to import all of that really soon. So disable is if current human image is not true, current clothes image is not true, and also if try on item is not true. All right, or try on item dot status is not strictly equal to completed, so we have to disable it as well. And if it's generating, if video item the status is processing or completed, that is when we want to disable all of this. Progress message is going to be video item, which we are going to create any moment from now. Progress percentage is going to be the same thing, video item. Elapsed seconds is going to be, as you can guess, video item. Then also on recover is going to be video item. Then this one as well, video item, the status is filled, then this video item as well. All right, so now let's bring in all of this. So undo generates, that's the first thing we want to implement. So inside of this, I'm going to say const undo generate video, and first check, we're going to first check if try on is completed first. We say if try on item is not true, if that is not true, else if try on item the status is not completed, then you're just going to show an alert that error, please generate a virtual try on first, else just return, just stop that really quick. All right, so what are we going to do next? We're going to use the first generated try on image. So const generated image is going to be try on item dot output. All right, and the first item in that array dot url. Then after this, we're going to say if generated image is true, or is not true rather. What are we going to see? Just an alert, error, failed to generate try on image, right? Or no try on image available, no try on image available, and just return that really quick. And also if video prompt dot stream is not true, because if you want to generate a video you need a prompt, right? If that is not true, you're also going to throw an error, please enter a video prompt. And we're going to generate the image by passing the generated image to the image URL, and prompt we are going to just pass in a video prompt right in video prompts. All right, so let's bring in all of this. We're going to see an error here, by the way, because video and item doesn't exist. So try on items, let's say const, that will be video item, We're also going to use memo for it. Basically the same thing, but this one is going to be video. So that's the first thing first. And the scenes we happen to, let's just pass this as this. Let's change this to try an item as well, and let's change this to video item as well. All right, so save all of this and reload your app. Let's go to the top of our code base. We still have these right here, so let's just change, let's add video prompts, or let's import these real quick. So let's just bring in generate video. All right, so that has disappeared. Video prompt, we can just quickly create a state right here and say const video prompt. Let's just pass in a prompt right here real quick and say a stunning. Let me bring this here. Let's bring this here. Let's import it from React. Let's say a stunning product showcase with smooth camera movement, professional lighting, and elegant transitions. The product is displayed from multiple angles. So let's just have that as our prompt for now. So our Andy generator is also ready. So what we can do is let's just minimize this as well. So the next thing we want to implement is the prompt itself that the user will pass in, right? So above this is where we want to have the caption prompt for the video specifically. So let's just say right underneath of this, let's create a view, and this view, let's have a text and let's have a video prompt. So this is going to have a class name and text of small font or semi-bold, text of gray 700, margin bottom of 2. Let's save that, and you should see that video prompt coming out. So we have a text input right here. This is going to be a self-closing tag. Then here we're going to have a class name, which is going to be BG of white, border gray 300, rounded XL, text gray 900. So the value for this is going to be video prompt. All right, so on change text is going to pass set video prompt to that, which is the state that we created earlier. So multi-line number of lines, let's pass in 4. Also text align vertical, let's pass in top right there. So editable, editable as well. It's going to have is generating is not true, and try on items dot status strictly equal to completed. So not try on items, try on item. All right, so that is what the text inputs look like, and you should see that right away. So let me see if I need to add a padding right here as well. So that looks like that. And also probably a margin right here. So class name, margin bottom of 4. So you should see how that is shaping up gradually. All right, so the next thing we want to implement, as you can guess, is going to be the last thing here is going to be the caption generation, right? So let me just minimize this. Let me bring this down, and what this is going to say is caption prompt inputs. So this is going to have the same, let me check. So let me copy all of this, or rather let me copy all of these. Copy this, then just underneath of this, paste this in right there and save this. It's going to duplicate it obviously, but let's just change this right away and say this is going to be caption prompt. Caption prompt. Then let's change in some of these values one after the other. So this is going to be caption prompt, which is still missing by the way. So on change text is going to be set caption prompt. It's going to be multi-line as well. Number of lines for text aligned vertical is going to be talk. Then it's generating, and this is going to stay the same. So generation card, we are going to pass in an icon of text. That's one. The on press is going to be handle generate caption, which we are still going to import by the way. The title for this is going to be social captions. Then description for this is going to be, let me remove all of this. This is going to be generate engaging captions with hashtags. So the status, right, is going to be caption item the status else pending. Disabled, we're going to have if current human image is not true, then disable it. If current images clothes image is not true, disable it. If try on item is not true, disable it. If try on item the status is not equal to completed, disable it. Generating is true, disable it as well. And right here we are just going to have, let's have this changed. We're going to have caption item, then this as well, change it to caption item. Alright, so the progress message is we're going to change all of this, caption item dot progress message, and all of this we're going to change this as well. Our recover is going to be caption item, then caption item dot status new, and lastly we're going to change this to caption item. Alright, so let's go to the top of our code and set every other thing that we need to set here. So we're going to say const caption item. We're going to use the same thing, right? We'll just change one or two values there. Caption prompt doesn't exist. Let's quickly create that. Const caption prompt, and this is where I want to pass in my own prompt. Let's first say hello so that error disappears. undo generate as well. So just say const undo generate caption. Let's just pass this for now and say console.log generating caption, so we can at least see the error disappear. Let's reload our app. So right inside of the caption here, as you can see, everything has shown properly. And let me just quickly pick an image real quick. So here, and also this as well. So that is what that looks like. All right, so for the caption prompt, so right here, instead of hello, we're going to pass in a specific prompts to the AI and say analyze the product in this image and create an engaging Instagram caption includes caption or include 2 or 3 sentences highlighting key features, benefits, and style. All right, add a compelling call to action and 5 to 8 relevant hashtags. Make it authentic and conversational. So save that. You should see this prompt changed any moment from now. So what's the next thing we want to do is start generating all our content, and we still have one more info tip at the bottom. So let's just scroll down. Let's minimize this. Okay, let's minimize this. So the info tip is going to be, let's cut all of this, let's cut all of that. So this is going to be here after this, right? And this is going to be info box. So after this, we're going to have a view right here, and also passing a class name right here. The class name is going to be margin top of 6, PG blue of 50, border blue 200, rounded XL, padding of 4. So after this, we are going to have another view right here, and what this view is going to say is, let's have a class name. The class name can reflect of row items of stats. So right inside of this, right inside of this, we're going to have ION icons. Name is going to be information sample size is going to be 20 or 24. Then 3B8 to F6. Save that. You see what that looks like. After this, let's have another view, and
this, we're going to see class name is going to be margin left of 2. Inside of this, we are going to see want to have fix right here. It's going to be how it works. Save this, then pass in a class name right here that says text of blue 700, text of small margin top of 1. Okay, that is shaping up real good. Then also let's have a text here, and this text they just say upload person and coding images, right, and pass this like this. So step 2, generate a virtual try-on first. So let's pass in first here. Then number 3, customize your prompts. Here we're going to say customize your prompts for video and captions. So you should see some interesting things show up. And finally, on number 4, let's say generate video and captions. Then we are going to see instead of it, we're going to say requires completed try on. All right, so number 5, last one, we're going to see each generation takes about 1 to 3 minutes, which in our own case is even less than that. So yeah, pretty much everything we need right here. All we have to do next is start generating our app. So let me reload the app. You can see that nice splash screen icon. So yeah, this is what this looks like. As you can see, our video prompt, which you can change as a user yourself, or also the caption prompt, which you can also change by yourself. All right, so once we scroll up, I will generate this product image first. That is when the button right here is going to be activated, and also finally this button right here. And once we generate, we can head to our Brave dashboard right here, and still in Wiro, right, we can click on this to see what we generated so far, right? So let me just minimize this, and let's just go ahead and generate some things that we can see on our dashboard. Let me see what we have there so far. Because this app has been installed by other people as well, they've been generating some cool interesting things, right? So this is the one of the image that was generated. This is a video. All right, so this was all done in the app. Now I want to generate a new image, the product image, with the model wearing on the crochet, right? So let me go back to my app, and what I want to do is be able to click this. I want to be able to click this, but if it's not clicking now, the solution to that is clearing your state for now, right? In the finalized version of the app, which I have right here, it is quite enhanced and improved. So if I just select this and just select this as well, you can see that This is how the finalized app look like. You have the video section separately and the gallery section separately as well. So this is the advanced app. If you want this advanced app, you have the source code in the description box below. This is not the starter code, this is the finalized code base, so you have access to this as well, right? But for the sake of testing this, what we're going to do is try to uninstall our app so it clears the state, because this is disabled because our state says that we are generating something. We want to be able to clear that cache. All right, I want to be able to clear that cache, and that is when we're able to create a new set of images, right? So if I just uninstall this, let me remove this app so it clears the data. If I go to my app store, this isn't the proper way to do it, but because we are just building this app and we want to quickly see how things are done, that is why I'm doing this. In the finalized app, like I said, everything works smoothly. You don't have to close the app. You can just click on a button to stop what is already processing or generate it and all of that. So for this, let me just take it up. Let me see if the QR code is showing. So I'm just going to take my camera to scan this right away. So let me just scan this right away. It's probably going to ask me to select something, to accept something like a prompt. All right, as you can see, it's done that. So let me go back to Expo. It's not showing. That's because you still need to scan one more time. So let's scan one more time. It should open right away now. So like I said, the state has been reset, right? This is what you have in the app. So click on get started. You start afresh. This is how things look like. All right, so let me bring in, so let's check what we have last on the app. As you can see, image to video, ByteDance. So let's pick a different model. All right, so for this person's image, we're going to allow full access. Pick this model right away. Pick this model, pick this picture as well, then choose this. Then you're going to see this side of things. We're able to click this. So if you click on that, if you just check your terminal, just scroll to the bottom of your terminal, you're going to see the progress so far. As you can see, virtual try-on started. So just keep going. As you can see, virtual try-on tags created, and every few seconds you're going to see the terminal get updated with status of the progress of what you're trying to generate. All right, so let me add to here. If I close this, open this again, you should see it trying to load that. Okay, we have actually sent something, and you can see what was generated, right? Completed in 11 seconds. Now you should guess that our app should give us the privilege to generate this and this as well, and also we should be able to see what we actually generated in the gallery, right? So let's first show what we generated in the gallery first, and now fix these small bugs. So if I let me add to my tabs, app tabs. This is where you want to show all the items that you have generated. So gallery.tsx, you see something pop in right now. So let's just say React Native functional export. So for this, I'm going to call this gallery. It's going to be gallery.
Why is this showing a lot of? So change this to gallery as well. Save this. We go to your layout. Now you want to bring in that screen as well. All right. So this is what the gallery looks like. If I click on it, it's just an empty screen, right? So close this. Go to your gallery. Now this is where you want to fully bring in everything regarding this. So you see what you've generated right here, the caption that I've generated that you can click and copy, and also a video, right? So basically what you're going to see, let me just go to the app again, installed on our device. This is it, right? If you go to gallery, you're going to, let's generate this. Let's try to generate this. So I'm trying to generate for this model as well, the same thing that we're trying to do in our Expo Go. I'm doing it in the installed app on my phone, and you can see the finalized app does have this stop and clear all that you can, just toggle, how things are looking. Just toggle it and let this one generate, and these buttons are there for you in case you face any error or bugs. So request ended, generation complete. As you can see, that stop all button disappears because nothing is running actively, and you have the clear all button. So if you go to your gallery, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about right here, and you can click on this. As you can see how that looks like, and you can click on this icon, this nice icon right here. Click on it. You're going to be able to save that picture to your device. As you can see, image saved to your gallery and all of that. So this is the same thing we want to implement in our Expo Go, in our gallery right here. So first things first, let's just clear all of this, and let's even cut it. Let's bring all of this and say export default gallery screen. I'll just call this function. All right, so we pass that inside of that, and it still works the same way. And they say Expo would like to access your Notion. Fine, continue. So far it's working. So inside of this, the first things first, we want to pass change our view, change this to safe area view. All right, so let's just reload our app so it registers that gallery screen. All right, so that is still showing. So inside of here, we're going to say class name is going to reflect of 1 BG of white. Then inside of these, just above this, we're going to have status bar from React Native. Bar style is going to be dark content. Save that. Then we're going to have an header right here, and I do believe we even have an header right here that we can just copy and paste or turn into reusable components, but for the sake of time, let's just copy it. Let me close this sidebar. So just under this, I'm going to import view from React Native, save this, and it is not viral kits that we want to have right there. All right, what we want to have is just gallery. All right, so yeah, let's say padding X of 4. That should do it. Then inside of this header, we are going to say BG is going to be, let's see, we already have BG white as the main guy right there, right? So let's just keep this border right here, border grade 200, and you can say padding Y of 4. This is still going to work text. Let's have a view right here, and inside of this we are going to pass in this exact text. We are going to pass in this exact text here. All right, so underneath of this is where we want to now have this. So cut this as well, paste this. So all of these, we are going to say your generated content. All right, so after this view, we are going to say processing count. If processing count is greater than 0, then we want to show something right here to show that okay, something is still processing. So right here, first things first, we just want to show a text, and this text is going to show processing count, and instead of all of these words, just going to say processing dot dot dot. Save that for formatting purposes, but that throws an error that is missing. So if you go to the top of my code right here, we are going to say const processing counts, and this is going to be use auto polling, which we are going to import from use generation. So save this, and that error should disappear. Nothing is being processed right now, that's why you're not seeing anything. So let me also continue this. So even after this, let me have a view here, and let me just cut this view and just bring this down right here. Oops, let me have my view here. So save this. Now why is this still throwing an error? Let me remove this. And I believe you are still missing a view. All right, so this view is going to wrap. This is wrong. Let me cut. So let me just cut all of this. Let me cut this. Put this inside of here. All right, so the class name for this is going to be flex of row, items of center, justify of center. A code that we've written so many times. We don't want to repeat that. So class name right here, which will be bg of yellow 100, padding x of 3, padding y of 1, rounded of full. All right, so just after this, we're going to have a class name text yellow of 800, font semi bold, text of small. So yeah, that is what the header for this screen is going to look like. If we check what we have right here, this is what we're trying to implement. So let's fix all of this. After this header, let me just remove this text right here. So inside of this, I'm going to have a scroll view, which is going to be coming from React Native. And inside of this scroll view, I want to pass in some props. And what are the props that I want to pass? Class name is going to be flex of 1. Then after this, I'm going to say content container style. This is going to be padding of not 14 but 24. Then shows vertical scroll view. this is going to be of false as well. Then refresh control. Refresh control is going to be coming from refresh control. Refreshing is going to be refreshing. Then on refresh is going to be on refresh, not under refresh, on refresh. Import this from React Native. We're going to create all those functions in a bit. So inside of this, we are going to say if as content is not true, right, then we're just going to pass an empty state, right? So we'll just pass a view right here, and this view is going to say ION icons. Name is going to be images outline. Size is going to be of 80. Color is going to be of hashtag D1 D5 DB. So after this, we are going to say we want to have a text. This text is going to be no content yet. So class name right here is going to be what? Text gray 400, text center margin top of 2, padding x of 8. All right, lots of squiggly lines errors. We're going to fix them in a bit. So text right here is going to be upload an image and generate content to see it here. All right, so after this, right, let's just pass in fragment right here, and let's fix all of these items one after the other so we can save our code without going into any error. So let's create a state here. We're going to call this refreshing, set it to refreshing, and then import it from React. Then just underneath of this, what else do we need to create a function called on refresh, right? So just below this, we have a const on refresh, const on refresh. This is going to be use callback, and we're going to pass in a function inside of it, and it's also going to take the dependency. So inside of this, we're going to say set refreshing. We're going to set it to true, then set timeout, right? We are now going to pass in set refreshing, then false, then after 1 second. So that second error is gone. Now is as content, we are going to just come above this and say const as const as content. We're going to assign this to latest try on or latest video or latest caption. All right, where are all of these going to be coming from? Just above this, we're going to say const latest try on is going to be try ons dot find, and you're just going to pass this and all of this as well. If the item dot not type but status, So this is going to be status, and this is going to also be completed. So import this real quick from the respective package, which is use try-ons stock content. All right, so for this as well, the status is going to be completed as well. Then for this as well, status, let's change this to completed as well. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. Let's just import. Let's import this. So let's just see, instead of this, let's just see, instead of use try for this, let's say videos. Right, latest video is coming from that. The latest caption is going to be coming from captions. All right, so let's just have this like this. So these are what it looks like. All right, and instead of use try-ons, let's get that from try-ons actually. So after this, where there is a const try-ons, is going to be coming from use try-ons. Video is going to be coming from use videos. Then caption is going to be coming from use captions. Import all of this, so all of the errors disappears. Save this, go back to your gallery, and you should see something showing. For now, we still have to style it properly. So if there's no content, this is what it looks like. So inside of this, let me have a class name. A class name is going to be flex of 1, items of center, justify of center, padding y of 20. Save that. You see what that looks like now. My text, no content yet. And yes, that is pretty much what I want to have. Yes, so for the class name of this, we're going to say text gray 400 text center, margin top of 2, padding x of 8. Save this. You see what that looks like in case there's no content. Now what if there is a content? All right, so if there's a content to show, the first thing we want to show, this shouldn't be here. The first thing we want to show is what is going to be virtual try on section, and inside of this I'm going to say latest try on. It is true, and latest try on dot output dot length is greater than 0. Then I want to show the first content right here. What will the contents look like? So I'm going to have a view right here. Inside of this view, I'm going to have class name of margin bottom of 8. So this is all showing the generated image, right? Let's have another view here. This view is going to have class name flex of row, items of center, margin bottom of 4. After this, all right, we're going to have ion icons, right? Then the name is going to be of shirts, size is going to be of 24. Then the color is going to look like this. Then text is going to say what? Virtual try on, right? So after this text, we are going to have a view, and this view is basically going to say latest try on dot output dot length to save this. And we definitely cannot see anything for now because we have no content for now. So class name is going to be margin left of 2, digit of purple of 100, padding x of 2, padding y of 1, rounded of full right there. That is what that should look like. But let's have a text. Let's wrap it around a text. All right. So let me cut all of this. Because this is a text, it must be rendered inside of a text. So class name, right, is going to be text of purple 700, text of XX, font of bold. Save that. Then after this guy right here, let me just minimize this one. So we are going to have this young lady right here. So we're going to have a class name right here. Class name is going to be flex of row, flex of wrap, gap of 2. All right. So after this, we are going to have latest try on dot output dot map. We are going to pass an arrow function inside of it. Inside of this, we're going to pass the parameters of output and index. So after this, we are going to have a view. All right, we're going to have a key right here, and this is going to be index. And here we're going to say class name is going to be width of right 48%, aspect square, rounded of XL, overflow, hidden, degree of 200, relative. Save that. So after this, we are going to also pass in a touchable opacity right here, imported from React Native. And what this is going to say is class name is going to be width of full and height of full. All right, so on press is going to be what? On press is going to be selected image output dot URL. Then after this, I'm going to say active opacity is going to be 0.8. For our set selected image, this is going to be set selected image, set selected image. So just above this, I'm going to say const set selected image, set it to null. Let me bring in the video as well. Right, selected video. So let me just keep that for now. We're still going to use it, but let's just keep that for now. Save this. Inside of this, we are going to pass in an image, right? Because we want to see the full details of that image. All right, so the source of that image is going to be URI output.url. Then class name is going to be width of full, height of full. Then let's just remove this. the resize mode is going to be cover. All right, so let's just import image from React Native real quick. All right, so this error, fingers crossed, should be solved. So after that, touchable opacity, we're going to have some action buttons. So let's have a view here. Let's have a view right here. So inside of this, we are going to have absolute. This is the button for us to download, the image in particular. So you can see you have this nice icon here to use to download the image or the video. So class name right there, and we are going to have absolute top of 2, right of 2, flex of cool, gap of 2. So after this, right, we are also going to have a touchable opacity. And what this touchable opacity is going to do for us is, let's pass in an icon here, icon to download. So just after, it's going to be download outline. Size is going to be 16, and let me just keep that as white as well. So save this. Touchable opacity, what is it going to do? Once we press this, it's going to call the function undo save image. I'm going to pass in output.url and pass the index right here. So we're still going to create that function, but for now, let's just create a dummy function right there for now. So just say const undo save image and just pass all of this in for now. So just console log the same image, URL and index, so we don't get stuck on that error. All right, so after that, we can also have an icon. So just pass in a view here, and this right here is going to say class name is going to be absolute. It's going to be bottom of 2, right of 2, bg black of divided by 15, rounded full, padding of 1. So after that, I'm going to say ion icons. We're going to pass that and just show an expand icon right there. All right, so this is for the image. Let's start seeing what we've generated so far. All right, so we can even quickly create the video section as well. All right, so let's just copy all of this. Copy these, just bring this here. We're going to change one or two things. So instead of latest try on, we are going to change this to latest video. Change this to latest video as well. So just let AI change most of this information. All right, so that's the first thing that we want to do. So professional video, size 24 and all of this. So latest video, and for the promotional video, I don't even want to have anything right here. Let me just have that like this. So after this view, instead of flex of row, I want to have just a relative right here. So after the relative, instead of rendering the map, right, let me just remove this. Let me remove all of this, and let me just delete this. Then after this, the index, I can as well clear the index and all of this. So output.url doesn't exist. It's going to throw an error, and that's because an error is not being shown because this value is not true. If that value was true, you would have seen the error right there. So I still want to use, let me just remove everything here. Let me remove everything here and just pass in a touchable opacity right here. I'm going to say whenever I press it on press, right, I want to have set selected video, which is going to be latest video.output.url, then opacity, active opacity is going to be 0.9. all right, so after this we're going to have video player. This is going to be video player, and URI is going to be latest video.output and .url. So after this, we are going to, after the touchable opacity, we're going to have a view right here as well. So inside of this, I'm going to have a class name. This class name is going to be absolute top of 4, right of 4, DG black over 50, rounded of full, padding of 2. After this, I'm going to have an ION icons, just to show a download button. all right, and I can as well remove this. Let me just remove this. Let me remove this right away. So let me wrap the app touchable opacity let's just have that here. Then inside of the touchable opacity, we're going to say on press. What is on press going to be like? Right here, we're going to say undo, save video. I'm going to pass in latest video.output.url. The class name for this is going to be bg black over 50, rounded of full, padding of 2. all right, so also active opacity is going to be 0.7. all right, so let's change this to 20. So this is for saving the video on our device, and just like what we have right here, to just show that you can actually expand it. So just copy this, and just after this view, just put it right here as well. all right, so at the top of our code, let's quickly create undo save video. So we're going to say const undo save video. Just pass that in right now, and this error should disappear. We're going to import our video player component as well. So let me just minimize this. So let me minimize this. Last thing that we want to implement is just this caption right here. Pretty straightforward. Let's quickly implement that and let's start generating all our content and seeing it in the gallery and all of that. So the caption right here, we are going to save latest caption. If that is true and latest caption.output.length is greater than 0, then I want to show a view right here. Then I want to have a class name which is going to be margin bottom of it. We're going to have a view right here. This view is going to be class name flex of row, items of center, margin bottom of 4, ion icons right. It's going to be a name, it's going to be text, size is going to be of 24, color is going to be this. After this, we're going to have a text, we're going to have social media caption. Alright, so this is going to have a class name of text of XL, font of bold, text of gray 900, margin left of 2. Save that. Then finally right here we are just going to say caption display, and we are just going to, so underneath of this we are going to say caption is going to be pass caption. It's going to be latest caption.output.caption or the text rather dot text. And why is this not really latest caption dot text? So this is going to be latest caption dot caption. Oops, caption. Then we're going to wrap. We're going to remove this right here. Then pass this like this. Then also hashtag is going to be pass caption and this. So ladies and gentlemen, we are set to just fix all of these small components and we should be good to go with rendering everything that we want to render. Alright, so let me just bring in this component and let's just focus on actually seeing things work instead of writing code and not seeing anything. So what I was able to do is just bring in some of these components that we don't need to waste our time creating. So if you just go to caption display, this is what the components looks like, and header, basically what we have right here. Alright, so I believe we've created something like this before, we don't need to waste time creating it. Also the image viewer modal, which is basically just going to show a modal and also a close button with an image. We've done that many times, we don't need to bother about that again. Video player, undo play pause, undo replay, and this is what that looks like. Like I said, I'm going to provide the code base for you to walk through it. So let me just let's head back to our create and let's even start creating things right away. As you can see, it's still loading, which shouldn't be the case. So how do we fix this? We have to, on one last time, uninstall our app, install it again, and try to generate the content, and we should be able to see things shaping up in our gallery. Alright, so let's do that right away. So our app is open one last time, so let's just click on next, click on get started, and this is still the same thing we've been working on. So let's just pick someone's image, allow full access, and let's just pick, let's pick our image, right? Pick this, then pick this as well. Let's pick a clothes, so pick this and click on generate, and once you click on generate, it will automatically generate the image. As you can see, virtual try on started, loading. Just give this a moment, and it's going to stop creating any moment from now. Generation complete, and if you click on our gallery, right, you can see what we've been working on for a long time now. As you can see, this was the image generated, and if you click on it, it shows the full details of the image. All right, so let's head back to create, and you can see promotional video as well and captions. So let's create for the captions as well. So let me just edit this and change this to crotchets. All right, so analyze this crotchet image and create an engaging caption and all of that. So click on the social captions as well to generate the caption for, as you can see, caption generation started right here. This is going to generate some captions for us. Just give us a moment. So you can see generation complete as well. If you go to your gallery, you have the caption right here. Great, let's get started. Based on the image you provided, I can see it's a beautiful crochet product with intricate details and vibrant colors. Here's an engaging Instagram caption that highlights its key features, benefit, and style. And this is what it says: say hello to this adorable crochet product. And if you click on this, you can copy it right away. So you can see 1206 characters. Scroll up, you get to see everything. So to the final interesting part, which is the promotional video, let's just click on this promotional video right here, and as you can see, video generation started. Elapsed 0 seconds elapsed. Corrected height 1024. So just give this a moment. It's generating the video. Open AI video generation status. Processing the video. So basically it's turning this picture into a video for you, and you can as well go to your dashboard and see what is really happening. So if you go to your Wiro dashboard, as you can see, generation complete. If you go to your gallery, you should be able to see something. If you're not seeing anything, then we have to fix that bug. So let me just click on this again. You can see this is the same image that we generated. As you can see, this image right here is the same image we generated right here. So let's head back to our Brave. So as you can see, this content right here is what we also generated right here. All right, so the Sora video as well, this is the output. As you can see, your request was blocked by a moderation system, so you couldn't generate this video for Sora. So if you head back to their models, let's head back to their models. Let me show you how the finalized app even look like. So let me just head back to viral kit right here. So this is what the this is what it should look like at the end of the day. All right, so if I just go to my video, let me pick what we already, this is the most recent item that we generated. And if I just click on this is the video prompt, and I can just say click on promotional video, and it's going to generate the video for this particular image. And why it's not showing now is because we need to adjust, change our models from OpenAI, right? So OpenAI is what we're using right now. So if you click on this, and let's even see the video before we even leave here. So it's generating the video, but we're using Coin, which is a far more interesting video generation tool for generation of content. As you can see, it's still generating. Just give us a moment. I want us to finish generating this, show the video, so we can move on with this. So it's generating it. Just give me a moment. So you get to our dashboard. Let's just click on this. We're going to see the image to video see down slide that is trying to generate. This is the video generated, right? So if we go back to our app, as you can see, completed. If we go to our gallery right here and just click on the full video, it says fail to show first, but once you click it, you see how things are. All right, so basically this is what we've been working on for a long time, and you can click it again to play the video or pause it, right? So yeah, basically, so for this video to work here, all you have to do is head to your constant. So you start with your utilities, start with your constant, and the Wiro endpoint. For this, we have to swap it from Sora to Pro. Let's just head to image to video, and let me just filter it by most rated. Let me scroll up. Apparently Sora is not even the one with the best. As you can see, this has 301,000 runs. So just click this. Let's just click that, and this is what the API we're using looks like. So if you go to API integration, if you go to Node.js, if you go to request HTTP type, you can see what the API endpoints look like. Where is it? This is what it looks like. Byte dance, image to video see dance. So you're just going to copy all of this, copy this, and put this right here. All right, so the default video config, resolution, default configs. So this is what we're basically going to do. Make sure that some of the parameters that they ask here that is important. So if you go back to run, you can see show advanced configurations. So this is quite important as well, this seat. So you have to copy this seat, copy it, right? And also you have to pass it in somewhere here. So let's just see, seat, pass that in right away, and just paste what we just copied basically. All right, so that's not the only changes you have to make. You still have to make some other changes by checking what are the differences between this API and the Sora API, right? Initially when I was building the app, the Sora API was working fine, but I think the API from OpenAI, I just realized that we keep generating the same videos, using the same image. That was why they stopped allowing us to generate videos on their platform again. But Coin, they don't really, or ByteDance rather, they don't really care, right? They just want you to have that flexibility. Now let me just quickly show you the demo once again. So right here in our app, I can minimize this and click on the app itself. I can close this app, close everything, open it again, and you have this here. If I click on this clear all button, it clears everything, right? I can clear this, it clears everything, and also this. So this is the process. You click on this, you pick this really cute model, then you upload another picture, then you click on virtual try-on. It takes its time to generate, you know, the person's or your product's final image. Exactly. So generation complete. You can see what we generated right here. And also if you go to your video, upload, you know, let's even save that picture. So let's save this. Let's save this picture. Go to your video, put in this picture, close this, click on promotional video. You started creating the video, and the video generation is complete. Go to your gallery, click on this. As you can see, this is what that looks like. And finally the captions as well. So click on this. You started creating the caption, and caption generated, of course, and this is what this looks like as well. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is what we've been able to build in this app. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do enjoy it, please head to my channel, subscribe, Code with Joseph. All right.